The Carol Powell Lexing Show. I'm Carol Powell Lexing, and today we are in for a treat. Before I get started, I always like to do a little affirmation, and I just want to say that, God said that your gifts will make room for you. So having said that, I think our show is going to fit right into people whose gifts have made room for them. And here to facilitate our discussion for today is my good friend, no stranger, my special guest, Mr. Scott Orlin, who is an international entertainment journalist and a Golden Globe voter.
That's what they tell me.
That's what they tell you. Well, welcome, Scott. Let's get started for today. I think this is like 'tis the season to be jolly, or 'tis the season to be joyous, because it's the award season.
Who doesn't like a little bit of recognition and acknowledgement?
I know. Aren't we so vain about this? But, we're talking about the different artists who have loaned their gifts to us and made us happy, sad, or whatever. And so I'm always excited about the awards, and because we have just come through the Golden Globe Awards. We're getting ready to embark upon the Oscars, the NAACP Image Awards, and I think we already had the People's Choice Awards too, but I'm not familiar. But anyway, let's talk about the awards. First of all, I would like to know, where did the name Golden Globe come from?
Carol, I'd like to know that as well. I think, when it initially started back in the mid 1940s, when this group of international journalists who were covering Hollywood and really had no connection to getting access, all pooled their resources together and started saying, hey, let's try and do things together to get interviews and to kind of spread the gospel of the entertainment industry to the rest of the world. And after planting that seed, they thought, well, let's do an award show in conjunction with that. And I think because they were international, the globe was coming together, and it never hurts to have a little gold in anything. That's kind of Golden Globe.
Wow, that's very interesting. That's an interesting take on that. What about the Oscars?
Well,
where did that name come from?
Well, the Oscar, there's always been rumors about it, that one of probably the biggest myth out there is that Betty Davis, when she looked at it, said, this looks like my Uncle Oscar. And it because it was always the Academy Award. And after that, it started getting the nickname Oscar. But it was always just the Academy Award.
Now, didn't Betty Davis say it looked like the Oscar statuette looks like the backside of her husband that was named Norman Oscar?
There have been so many various, interpretations of this rumor, and then somebody else came out, that's not even where it came from. So it's just public myth right now. But it stuck. I mean, it's interesting. Yeah. Even though it technically is the Academy Award, everybody knows it as the Oscar.
Right. Well, tell us why the awards are so important.
I think that if you look across the board in any field, whether it's the Pulitzer Prize, whether it's the Nobel Peace, people like to be acknowledged in some capacity, especially in the entertainment industry. When this was started back by, Mary Pickford and so forth, the entertainers there, they were just trying to draw recognition to the industry. They wanted people, and they realized that sometimes when you separate and put people up on a little perch, that more people then pay attention to it. I think that's kind of the initial start of where the award came from. And then, of course, it just ballooned, because the first awards for the Academy were not even televised. I mean, it was they announced the winners to the press before the show. It was all publicized after, it's so different than what we know of it today.
Right.
But it's the pat on the back. People just want to, hey, you did a good job. And I think that's kind of where the acceleration came from in all these awards.
Right, because everyone loves a little notoriety and love to be noticed, love to be recognized for, their hard work. And so this is an opportunity for those artists to be recognized and for the world to join in. And because I know I enjoy watching the award show, and my favorite is watching the red carpet to see what everybody got on. I mean, it gives everybody the excitement or the anticipation of something great beyond their recognition as an artist is going to take place. That's kind of how I feel when they start promoting it and and showing all these commercials that is coming up. I get excited, and of course, after last year, I think everybody is anticipating that it's going to be a little more than what normally happens is going to happen now at these Academy Awards shows.
See, now that will then become the Golden Globe Awards, where you have to bring your gloves to an award show, just in case after what happened with the Oscars. I think, too, what's fascinating is that there is, I don't want to say it's a pushback, but maybe it's a generational thing where people almost want a participation trophy, that everybody did something. And so instead of having the traditional 5, well, now it has to go to 10. And then some people are doing 20. And it's great that you can spread the wealth around, but isn't that defeating the purpose? And again, it's only what I always say about any award show, and not even an award show, but even in a sports, when you're looking at an MVP, that
right.
It's somebody's opinion. I think this person did that this year.
It's an opinion where when you vote on, I guess, the nominees to be a nominee or the winners, is it fair to say that they are like the cream of the crop as it relates to in this particular area that you award them an award in?
I take voting on the Golden Globes incredibly seriously, but part of the way I vote is twofold. There's an intellectual and there's an emotional. And when you're watching a movie, you respond differently than when you watch a movie. We're all it's very visceral. There's something that you connect to, and you'll see a performance that was, oh my God, that just stood out for me. While you'll talk to a colleague or a friend and they go, didn't do anything for me. Does that make it right or wrong? And I always use the analogy that blessed my friend Joyce, if you're listening, she says that's why there's Baskin Robbins. There's 31 flavors. There's something for everybody.
That's true.
So everybody has something that they can feel that's something special to them.
Right. Tell me, I guess before I ask you this question, I just want to share what I liked about the Golden Globes this year. I like because a lot of the nominees and a lot of the winners were first. To me, that was incredible because normally you get to see the same people, but with the Golden Globes this year, a lot of people were first, and I think everybody loved that, to give other people an opportunity to display their talents. And I guess my favorite was the lady, I can't think of her name, but she played in the movie The Watchers. She said
Jennifer Coolidge.
Yeah, she said she thought about wearing her Crocs, I really enjoyed her because I got a chance to see the movie The Watchers, and she was different in there.
If you look historically at the Golden Globes, I mean, even for the past 20-something years, which I've been a member, they've always been one of the first organizations to jump on to a new show or a new performer. I mean, historically, the first recognition that a lot of people got was through Donald Glover for Atlanta. You had Rachel Brosnahan for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Gina Rodriguez, when there's Jane the Virgin. There were a lot of that. They're very quick, but then they move on. Because there's another group that kind of comes through.
And that's
good.
The
Emmys, sometimes you see the same person winning 5, 6, 7 years in a row.
Right.
I cannot think of a time that's ever happened at the Golden Globes.
And that's good because as a viewer, we want to see new talent. We want to see innovation, new people coming, expressing their new artistry. And so hats out, kudos to the Golden Globes. How does the Academy Awards differ from the Golden Globes?
Well, primarily it's the voting body. I mean, the Golden Globes, again, consists of over 200 international journalists from around the world who are voting, and they have to be working for periodicals or magazines that are based outside the United States. The Academy is voted by members who work within the entertainment industry or in the film production industry. So you have cinematographers, you have film editors, you have musical scores for films, actors, and each branch nominates for that branch. So actors will only nominate, everybody nominates for best film, but only actors can nominate actors, directors nominate directors, film editors will nominate film editors.
Okay.
And then at the end, collectively, when all the nominations come out, then every member can vote in every category for the winners.
Wow. Okay. I guess I'm getting back to, receiving an award is very important. I guess pretty much why does it matter? So
Several reasons. One, I think, again, going back to people like to be acknowledged. You want to be appreciated. Hey, the work that you did was really good. And in this industry, one of the ways that is showcased, besides getting a great salary, is that you get this various award recognitions, be it from peers, be it from the public, or be it from critics and journalists. Also, sometimes there's a financial perk to getting an award that some actors or talent have written in their contracts, that if they are acknowledged during the course of the year in certain capacities, there's a little financial bump for them. So there is a huge incentive. I don't think that any actor sets out to win an award, because there's so many variables that come into play about whether the film's going to be received or whether things are going to work out. But there's always that what if.
right.
Just in case there is this recognition, this is the potential. There's a financial potential to be rewarded with.
So it increases their brand. It helps out, I guess, with their.
It gives you opportunities as well, because sometimes I'm just trying to think. Recently, Eddie Redmayne, was this incredible theater actor. He was starting to do a lot of films. Then he did in The Theory of Everything. His performance was brilliant. It swept all the awards. And all of a sudden, all these offers started coming his way, that he was separated from the pack. And that's one of the great perks of not only just being acknowledged for an award, but if you win, is you have a sweet spot of a couple of years right after where everything is going to be offered to you.
Right.
Or in most cases, because there are some actors that would disagree with me, but in general, there's going to be a great opportunity. And if you seize on it correctly,
Right.
the mountain is yours.
And so it highly boosts credibility, and it just makes other companies want to gravitate that we need to get that person for this.
Everybody wants to work with a winner.
That's right. That's right. You can't beat that. So going back to the contracts, what do some of the actors put in their contracts?
I've never really, well, no, actually I did. I worked for a producer once, and I was looking through some of the writers in the contracts, and they're very interesting. Some it's about wardrobe. Maybe they get to keep certain wardrobe in the film. Others are about the glam that, if they have to do anything. Some had it. Madonna, apparently, when she did League of Their Own, she got use of the company jet several different times during the course of the making of the movie. So she didn't have to, she could fly private, and she didn't have to fly commercial. Obviously, there's financial incentives that go through. There will be, I need time off if there's a particular event that's happening in their lives that they need to do. Sometimes it could be, you don't like a certain person, I don't have to be around them if I don't want to be.
So it just depends on what type of diva you are to make demands about what you want, how you want your contract negotiated. But if I'm nominating you, why do I give you an opportunity to tell me what goes into the contract when I'm improving your credibility or boosting your credibility and helping you out with your career by being a member of the, I won't say a member, but being on the Golden Globes?
They're two different. We're talking about apples and oranges here, because those contracts that are being negotiated are with the studios or with the production entities, the television, if they're doing a streamer. Those contracts are there. When you're talking about the Golden Globes or the National Film Critics or any of these other institutions, even the Academy, there's no contracts. There's nothing with that.
All right.
When a talent will go to the Golden Globes or they go to the Academy, then obviously there's going to be the streamer, the network, or the studio will step in and provide the transportation, the glam. They'll help with a stylist. They want to make sure, because again, it benefits them if their talent or one of the people, their film gets an acknowledgement and a win. It gives them bragging rights, and it's more productive for them.
Okay, that's what I was about to ask. Okay, so we're dealing with, like you said, apples and oranges here to kind of help me understand, because I'm like a neophyte at this. To see, basically, once a actor has been notified that they are going to be a nominee for that particular category or whatever they're being nominated for, At that time, does the perks start or their company start promoting them?
Actually, it kicks into high gear. Beforehand, like what they're doing is that there's just a myriad of different ways in which you're trying to draw attention to a particular, let's just say actors in this case. They'll show up on red carpets. I mean, you want the work to speak for itself. That's 90% of it. But then they're going to start doing these Q&As where, let's say, before screenings for the Screen Actors Guild or for BAFTA, that they will then bring in the talent afterwards for like a 20, 30-minute Q&A where you can talk about the movie, talk about the performance. That's going to kind of help. There are these tastemaker, handshake, little private events, parties that they have afterwards. Again, every voter that you reach, there's a great story once Denzel Washington told where when he was for Malcolm X, and they were taking him to various places, again, just to try and promote. And they took him to the Motion Picture Home, if I'm not mistaken, that's where it was. And they were introducing, Malcolm X. And one of the things is, well, why should I vote for you for a sequel? He thought it was Malcolm 10. And Denzel was like, no, Malcolm X, it's a person,
Okay.
that there. So it's kind of interesting is the different places you kind of have to go. Some people call it a dog and pony show, that you're really out there parading your wares.
Right.
You'll see them then go on The View and The Talk and Jimmy Fallon and Stephen Colbert. They're going to start going on. And now, especially with the nominees, pay attention because you'll be seeing them in a lot of different places. It's very strategic. However, on the other hand, there are a couple of actors that say, I'm not part of this and I do nothing. They will not actively promote. They go, my work speaks for itself. And either they're big enough or what their role was so significant enough, they don't have to. But for a lot of other people, they will. They'll do something. And, rarely does it backfire. Usually what you're trying to do, and I had a brilliant marketer once tell me this, you're trying to make people aware of your product. And the important thing is you have to do whatever you can just to keep them in front of other people's eyes. That it may not change their vote, but they'll always be aware, oh, yeah, that person.
Wow. Wow. Let me ask you this. Do the presenters, do they enter into any type of contract for payment or they get perks?
In most cases, presenters, I think in almost every award show, do it for free. There is no payment involved at all. Again, the studios will step in and, help out with, the glam, and, there'll be a stylist, and, whether one of the big, Armani or, Tom Ford will step in and help dress the presenter. But in a lot of the cases, there are gifting suites. And these gifting suites are set up. The Grammys are coming up right now. There are going to be Grammy gifting suites. There's the Emmy gifting suites. There's the Oscar gifting suites. Usually not necessarily sponsored by the actual association. Other companies kind of come in and piggyback, and they will give tens of thousands of dollars. I'm talking about at one point it got over $100,000 for the Academy. And this happened with the Golden Globes. And all of a sudden the IRS went, wait a second, you're giving them $100,000. You have to pay taxes on
The
that.
presenters?
You better believe it, that they were giving that. And I will compliment the HFPA, which is with the Golden Globes. When the IRS came through, we foot the bill and we paid the taxes on all the things. But then the next year, we stopped doing it.
Wow.
No more, giving that out. But then other people spring up around it. So the Academy, there will be many, many gifting suites around Los Angeles, different companies trying to get their wares into the hands of the nominees.
When you said they normally do it free, I was beginning to feel kind of bad because, see, I was one of the presenters back in a long time ago at the BET Hip Hop Awards. And the only thing I remember, I did get to walk the red carpet, but no one told me that I was going to get any gifting of any sort. So
that's all been like the last 15 years, and it exploded and it got so obscene, especially even at Sundance at the film festival, and that you could walk Main Street and every store has been converted to a swag shop.
Wow.
For the various trying to get people in, because for these different companies, if you get the hot young actor wearing your product or in some way taking a picture and what looks like an endorsement of the product, can be worth millions to them. So, and especially now with social media, where you don't even have to like worry. All you have to do is want them to tweet about it or put it on their Instagram.
Wow, yeah, I was getting a little worried there because, like I said, when I did the red carpet for the BET Hip Hop Awards, there were no perks.
I would send them a
None
note
at
saying,
all.
hopefully, can you go back and rectify this
No.
injustice?
The only joy I had was Boosie Collins walking ahead of me with his, what do you call it, big hat on. That really kind of blocked my view, but nevertheless, I enjoyed it. It was an experience for me. And getting back to the red carpet, I enjoy watching everyone, all the outfits, whether they are on the men or women or whomever or wearing them. I enjoy just watching the fashion show. And like you said, they look like they're being kind of paraded around to basically, expand their brand and say, hey, this is who I am.
Again, it didn't used to be like that at all. Jane Fonda tells a story, I think it was for the movie The Morning After, in which she was nominated, where she didn't have a dress and she ended up going to Bullock's looking to buy something like a day or two before. That all has changed, that now literally celebrities will have fittings by their top designers, an offering of 7 to 8 different outfits they can pick out and choose. It literally has become a parade.
Right.
And it is, like you said, the red carpet is almost as much a focal point as the show itself. And it is important to make that statement on the red carpet. Billy Porter, look what it did to him when he wore that Christian Siriano tuxedo dress that he designed from the male perspective. No one had seen that before. It made, not that Billy wasn't before, but it elevated him to now this fashion icon status. One moment can change everything for people.
And I think that outfit, from my understanding, is in the museum now. So not only did it elevate him, it put him definitely in a place of history by being in a museum that Billy Porter wore this outfit at the Academy Awards.
And sometimes you don't even know what the award show is. You think of Jennifer Lopez in the Versace outfit. Many people may have to think twice that it was for the Grammys, but that outfit elevated Jennifer Lopez to a different status.
It sure did.
Within the fashion world. Not that she wasn't always fashion savvy, but that was the moment. And that's what happens on these red carpets, is you get the moment, and you never know who it's going to happen to and when it's going to happen.
And what the moment is going to be. I say, wow, I look forward to the award season, and I look forward to seeing what else is in store. And hopefully we will not have what we saw last year at the Oscars, but something has to keep it exciting, though. I don't know what that would be. Hopefully it won't be what we saw last year, though.
It's up to, usually when you look at an award show, is the host kind of sets the template. He sets the table. He's the appetizer. It's getting everybody, and then it's to me, and I know I've talked to several other people about this, the acceptance speeches, sometimes that's the main entree, that people want to tune in and they want to hear these wonderful moments. Sometimes people drone on. Other times, I think it was Joe Pesci, just went, thank you, walked off.
And we like that too sometimes.
But those heartfelt moments that people, Louise Fletcher, signing thank you to her parents, those become the iconic things that people remember.
Speaking of iconic, the lady that I mentioned a few minutes ago, Jennifer
Coolidge,
she had an iconic moment when she accepted her awards, because I felt like I just kind of, I just connected with her when she was just talking about and thanking the different producers and the different writers for giving her a chance. And she was saying that she had to make a meal, and this was an opportunity for her to work, and she was just thinking that was a heartfelt moment that I connected. That's why I can remember her too, and remember her name, Jennifer Coolidge. And to me, that's very important. It's very important. Now, when they go on and on, it's not that becomes a turnoff.
I can't remember who it was, but there was somebody who literally went on for several minutes, if not I think it was 12 or 14 minutes. It's the record. And that's why they had to institute that 45-second clock.
Right, and the music gets to play, the piano starts playing.
It's kind of like in basketball. Remember, they used to keep the ball on their side of the court to try and run down the clock for 4 or 5 minutes, especially in college basketball. Right. And then they went, nope, got to have a clock. So Clock works for
Right.
everybody.
Right, right. It does. It does. Well, I believe that we are basically wrapping it up. I enjoyed our conversation today, and I look forward. Hopefully, Scott, you got to come back and join me again for some more good hot topics that we can talk about. My name is Carol Powell Lexing. Thank you for watching and joining us. And please don't forget to tune in to my webpage on carolpowellexinglaw.com. Until we meet again, be blessed.